Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Angie's Angles. It is April the 23rd of the year, my Lord, 2026. Coming to you live from Smoke Therapy, 215 Ronkonkoma Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York. If you're ever in the neighborhood, stop on by. I'll buy you a cigar. 100%. So, watching the Met game tonight, and I've got a couple of takeaways, if you will. We all know that Francisco Lindor came up lame last night, round in third, coming home. They're calling it a calf muscle injury. They're saying way worse than Soto's injury. They're saying a long time absence, if you will. But I got to say something. While Lindor's bat will be missed, I'm not concerned about his defense being missed. We all know he had a couple of miscues in the field this year. His head was up his ass somewhere. We're not really sure where it was. Harold, I am interstate. Thanks, Harold, for joining. I know there's a football draft going on tonight, so I might be a little shy in some viewerships. Hopefully, you all get a chance to watch the rewind at your leisure. So the takeaways from today's game so far is that we're making contact when it's necessary. It seems like our chase rate is a little down tonight, which is positive. Thank God for that. Hey, Tom, what's going on? Thanks for logging on, brother. We're putting the ball in play. Alvarez's second at bat was key. Drive the ball to the outfield, score that run. That's all we ask that happens for the New York Mets. We're 9 games out of first with this horrendous losing streak of 12 games. We finally broke it last night. We're off to an auspicious start tonight. We're winning 6-1. Christian Scott did not have it. Call it the jitters. Call it stage fright, call it what you will. But the good thing about Christian Scott is that he's throwing the ball hard. He just has to group it together, find his release point, and I think he'll be fine. Yeah, Harold, let's put you on the big screen, Harold. Who cares about the football draft? It's baseball season. And Harold, kudos to the Chicago Cubbies. And thank you again for beating those filthies. Even with our 12-game losing streak, we're not in last place, thank God. We're sitting a tad above last place in the National League East. But the Atlanta Braves are the only ones above 500 at the moment. But I'm very curious to see how their pitching holds up. They're not well stocked with their pitching, but they're getting the pitching when necessary, when it's important. I'm just keeping an eye on the Met game to my right on my phone. There's 2 outs, 6-1 man on first. So they brought in Dave Peterson to relieve Tobias Myers, who pitched 2 solid innings. Yeah, Harold, the bats for the Cubbies have woken up, and you're getting some I wouldn't say quality pitching, but you're getting enough pitching to make sure that the bats take care of business. Christian Scott loaded the bases, walked in a run, and limited the damage to 1 run, thank God. That could have been an ugly first inning, and thank God we're playing the Twins. I take umbrage on Byron Buxton's stare down to Christian Scott when he got hit. You know the kid's losing his control. You know he doesn't have it in him. Ronnie Mauricio just booted an easy 3rd out. Should have been easy peasy. He let the ball play him. He didn't play the ball. I don't understand why Mendoza did this. And tonight's topic is Mendoza's on the hot seat. I would have put Mauricio at third base and put Bichette back at short. Bichette is a natural shortstop. Mauricio's got a bigger arm than Bichette at third. Mauricio plays a pretty decent third base. So I'm not really sure why we got Mauricio at shortstop. That's a faux pas, in my opinion, on by Carlos Mendoza. And we all know that I'm not a Carlos Mendoza fan by any stretch of any imagination. I was kind of hoping and rooting for the Mets to continue their losing ways, just so that we could replace Carlos Mendoza. Time will tell if that happens. Um, it seems like the ball players rallied around him a little bit, saying that it's not his fault, that they got to do a better job um, putting the ball in play, not having that chase rate be at 50%. I mean, so there's a lot going on with the Mets. So we're 9 games out of first early in the season. However, we're 6 games out of the wild card. Hey, Clark. I am Duo Estado. Thanks for joining, Clark. As always, I appreciate you. And the Twins just scored a run on Ronnie Mauricio's error. So that's an unearned run right there. Not good for the Mets. They got to tighten up their defense. We're giving you a little play-by-play action here while I'm watching the ball game. So let's talk about Mendoza being on the hot seat. It seems like Kevin Lytics brought up this really good point that Major League Baseball right now is upside down. Oh, where in Florida? Clark, tell us. There are 3 teams that were under 500 that were all slated to be postseason teams. You got the Mets, you got the Filthies, and you got the Kansas City Royals, who can't find their way out of a wet paper bag for some reason. And they're a well put together team. But you got the Marlins and the Nationals winning, albeit that they're is that West Coast or East Coast, Clark? I'm not familiar with Fort Walton Beach. So we got the MLB upside down, and you just got to expect that the Marlins and the Nationals come back to the pack, which would allow the Mets some mobility upward and onward. But the Mets still have to stay in the game. They have to continue playing tight defense and timely hitting. Soto's back to form. He's 0 for 0 with 2 walks, and he's getting the job done at the plate in terms of his eye discipline. That hasn't escaped him. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Mets proceed without Francisco Lindor in the lineup and or on the field. And David Peterson just struck out the Minnesota Twins to get out of trouble. At the it's in the middle of the 4th. The Mets are winning 6-2. So I'm waiting for Mark Brooks to sign on if he's going to make it tonight. I know his granddaughters are playing some ball, so he might be at the ball game this evening down in the Carolinas. I'd like to get his input. What we're trying to do is put Carlos Mendoza on the hot seat watch. Oh, Mark Brooks just joined us. Mendoza's rolling the dice to make the batting order. Well, you know, you got to do something, Mark. It wasn't working. And if you got Bichette, who's a career 300 hitter, on-base percentage extraordinaire, contact hitter, you can't have your leadoff hitter striking out or popping up. What we say is you put the ball in play and things happen. It seems like tonight the balls are bouncing the Mets' way, i.e. the pass ball on Bichette. He was safe at first and Simeon scored. So only a couple days ago that wouldn't have happened. It would have been a pass ball, hit the backstop, come back. They would have got the guy out at home, and they would have got the out at first base. So now that the Mets are getting some mojo back, I'm a little bit more excited about our possibilities. Now we're dealing with Peterson's out of the starting rotation. I don't know what we're doing with Senga. You got Manea knocking on the door to come back into the rotation. Christian Scott showed he had some some odds in it tonight, finding the strike zone. I don't mind Mark. I don't mind Bichette leading off, but I do mind Soto batting second. I think we need to maybe put Benj second. Do Bichette, do Benj, do Soto, do fourth. I don't know. Alvarez is too big of a swinger and not enough contact. Maybe you put Beatty fourth. So Mendoza doesn't have much to work with, Mark, in that right now, especially with Lindor out of the lineup. I'd like to see Tyrone Taylor get a couple of bats. Here's another blast. Going, gone. Another home run. That is Benj with his second home run of the year. He's starting to hit this kid. And maybe we just handle him long enough that he's breaking out of his shell. He had a double. Now he hit a convincing home run to right field. Maybe he's starting to get his confidence back. And we're up 7-2, so we got that run right back. This didn't happen during the losing streak. We would have been just strike one, strike two, strike three, strike one, strike two, pop up, ground out, etc., etc. That's in the hole. Nice play by the shortstop over the first, safe. So again, the balls are starting to find the holes. The balls are starting to fly over the fence for the Mets. Carson Benj is looking to be the guy that we all loved and hoped that he would be. He stayed back on that ball. Nice, sweet swing. Pulled it over the right field fence for his second home run of the season. That ball was a no-doubter. So I'm not really sure you could really fault Mendoza with the batting order. Who's up now? Soto's up now. Is that Soto? Yeah, Soto's up. So it's nice to see Soto in the spot that he's in. He seems to be hitting the ball hard. And give me a second as he gets the next pitch. It's 0-1 on Soto. And he pops it up. He pulled off the ball a little bit. That might drift out of play. And nope, third baseman catches the ball. All right. So he pops up. He's 0-1 tonight. Soto's bat's a little sluggish, but that's to be expected coming back into the lineup coming off his injury. What say you, Mark? Do you want to see do you want to see Carlos Mendoza fired? If yes, who do you want to bring in as the next manager? By all indicators, it looks like Correa could be in line. It could be Beltran. I, for one, don't want Beltran. I don't want to see him anywhere in the dugout. The cheating stuff aside, I just don't think Carlos Beltran is the cure-all right here. I do want to see a little bit more emotion out of Carlos Mendoza. I want to see him turn over a table in the clubhouse or hear about it. I want to see him argue a cold strike that wasn't. I want him to, rip up first base and toss it out of Lou Piniella. We need some fire under these guys. And while it's their responsibility to get the job done as the ball player, it is the manager's responsibility to make them feel uncomfortable. Okay. Now, word on Lindor is coming back slow, but from what it sounds like, where the injury is, it could be a torn calf muscle. Although he walked off the field on his own power, so I would highly doubt that it's torn. It could be a grade 3 strain, etc., etc. It was good to see Francisco Alvarez drive that ball to the outfield with 2 strikes on him. In the past, they would throw him a breaking pitch, and he would flail at it and strike out. Yeah, Harold, David Ross, we talked about this last week. But you know what? Let's put you on the big screen so everybody can see it. Harold says that saved David Russ, but I don't want to see him with your ownership and the GM, etc. Now I've got a little conspiracy theory going on. We brought in David Stearns from the Milwaukee Brewers. And what did the Mets do to the Milwaukee Brewers? They kicked them out of the playoffs in 2024. We've got Snicker's son as our batting coach. Now, we know there's a huge rivalry against the Braves and the Mets. Now, this is far-fetched, of course. You know, we don't think that these guys are tanking the New York Mets out of spite now, do we? I don't know anymore. I really don't know anymore. Anything's possible. But Alvarez just grounded out to third base. He hit the ball hard. Good play by the third baseman Gray. I thought Christian Scott was crisp. He was throwing 97 miles an hour. So we know his arm is okay. He just has to find that release point. Tobias Myers came in. A recap did a good job. Louis Robert drove that double. That was very important. Simeon made a base running error, but no harm, no foul because he eventually scored. So, again, what I'm seeing from the Mets is that the ball is starting to bounce the Mets' way. Finding the holes, finding the gaps. The balls are being hit hard. And no longer are they finding the fielders. So, Louis Robert going deep to the warning track. Right in front of the warning track. He hit that with one hand. All right, so we're hitting the ball good tonight. Joe Ryan didn't have it for the Minnesota Twins. He came in with a 3.29 ERA, and obviously that's going to go northward to about 3.8, 3.9 after today's outing. So, Harold, you're a frequent flyer on the big board. To be fair to Mendoza, the manager rarely makes a lineup anymore. It's done in the front office with analytics. Terry, what's going on, Terry Sanchez? Thanks for logging on. I appreciate you very much. Terry, May 22nd, Joe Louis and the Groove birthday party. Put it down in your calendar book, Terry. I'll talk to you offline about that. So I've stepped back from the ledge. I'm no longer teetering with 1 foot over. The Mets have on a 1-game winning streak, and just as easily as we lost 12 in a row, we could certainly rattle off a 5-6 game winning streak. We're at home. We play the Colorado Rockies next over the weekend. A very, very beatable team. And we have to do that. We have to beat the teams that we should beat. That goes without saying. So I'm not really sure how dire Carlos Mendoza's position is with the New York Mets right now. I think David Stearns gave him a vote of confidence a couple days ago, but that always happens. Usually when the door is being shown the manager, you get a vote of confidence, and then all things break loose. There's some traction being done with this Ohtani rule, and Craig Counsell is leading that charge, saying how they had a major advantage, being that the Ohtani rule, meaning that when he pitches and he's pulled from the game, he could still remain in the batting order, and it's the only team that has that advantage. And Dave Roberts out in LA said, well, then, produce dual players and you'll have the same advantage. That's not the answer. Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred especially, has kowtowed to the Dodgers and making it easy for Ohtani to be the superstar that he is. And nothing away from Ohtani other than the gambling scandal that This guy, this Angie's Angles, firmly believes that Otani was 1,000% guilty in that gambling scenario, and his poor translator took one for the team. If you know what I mean. I'm trying to remain calm tonight because last week when I got excited, it initiated my cough. When I get excited, my lungs kind of go crazy on me. So I'm trying to keep it low key so I could not have a hacking fit and keep you a little bit more entertained. Yeah, Harold, it's complete bullshit that the Otani rule was created. It's complete bullshit that the Buster Posey rule got implemented, the ghost runner, the two disengagements, the time clock, everything possible to bastardize the game of baseball that we all love. And what I find out is it's the old timers that are keeping the water cooler talk going on, but it's our youth that is missing that opportunity. There's no more cat and mouse game in the game of baseball due to this. As Dave Peterson goes and turns a double play and gets us out of the inning. Well done. The throw to first base, Mark Vientos did a good job coming doing the stretch. I think they're going to be reviewing this if he kept his foot on the bag, and 1,000% he's out. So we're going to see what happens. They're going to challenge this play, I believe. Yeah, he's completely on the bag. I don't think that's going to get overturned. I'm watching the slow mo one more time. Definitely, he's out in my opinion. Let's see what happens. The umpire is having troubles with his earpiece. It's under review, and it's got to be egregious. It has to be clear cut, and I don't think there was a clear cut angle where he came off the bag. Just bear with me. They're reviewing it in Manhattan. And this is where Carlos Mendoza has to go nuts if this is overturned, because the replay looked like he was on the bag. And they did overturn it. Wait, the call hasn't been made yet. They're still waiting on it. I'm sorry they're taking a long time. See, this is the problem. It shouldn't take this long to overturn or confirm the call on the field. This is just ridiculous. We're now in a minute. He's definitely on the bag, 1,000%. I mean, I don't know what they're looking at. I honestly don't know what they're looking at. And if this play gets overturned, Carlos Mendoza needs to go out there and get himself thrown out of the ball game. So we're all waiting. Now we're in the 2-minute mark for this review. He's out. He is out. Call confirmed. That took way too long for Manhattan to review that play. Every angle showed him completely on the bag. And this is what I'm talking about, Major League Baseball. It's just ridiculous. It's got to be bang, bang. I mean, you got all the camera angles in Manhattan in the field office. And for that to have taken over 2 minutes to confirm the call on the field is ridiculous. It's a bad job by Major League Baseball. So with that said, thank you for being patient. Mets are out of the inning. All right, we're at the 8:53 mark. It's time for our prayer circle. I've got some additions, sadly. Harold, we're praying for Dawn Squared, Carol, Bob, Doug, and Allison. Scott, we're praying for your wife, your mom, and your son Anthony. Terry Sanchez, again, thanks for signing on tonight. We're praying for your mother-in-law and your mom. Antoinette Brooks, we're praying for your brother Mike. Mark, give us an update on Mike Kidney's hunt. Linda Stein, we're praying for your dad, yourself, life, your mom also. Prayers to you with your new future. Kevin Elliott, mental and health challenges going on. When I say mental health challenges for my friend Kevin, that's tongue in cheek. He's absolutely certifiably insane. Devin Lee, we're praying for you guys down in Maryland. Marianne Bello, we're praying for you and your family. Larry Levy, wife Frida remaining in remission from cancer. Mr. McGowan, sir, we understand that you're getting stronger as the days go by. God bless you. Ralph, we're praying for your health and personal challenges. Pete and Shani, we're rooting for you guys to find a new avenue of a career, and you're back to the house hunting. Big John, we're praying for your friend Irene. Joe Echevarria, we're praying for your heart condition. West Coast, Dave Prince, praying for your blood. Johnny Barbecue, we're praying for your sciatica, but you're here every week now, John. Good to see you back. John W., we're praying for Elizabeth. Johnny V., we're praying for your father-in-law. Mike, my buddy here at the Smoke Lounge, we're praying for your dad, Richard. Mark Brooks, remain vertical, my friend, and we're praying for Anaya's uncle. Tom, my friend here at the Smoke Therapy, praying for Pat, cousin Jim, who's dealing with cancer. Jason Mertz's son, Colton, as he goes through his knee rehab. We're praying for Mike, my poker friend. We're praying that your surgery is a success. I know you're going back to the hospital for some checkups, but we got you on our prayer list, Mike. God bless you. A good family friend of the Gaglianos, Mr. Gallagher, passed away. We're offering our sincere condolences to Mrs. Gallagher and to his kids, Kathy, Karen, and Brian Gallagher. It's never easy. And Mr. Gallagher was a big part of my life. So rest in peace, Mr. Gallagher. And for those that have been following me, my friend John Erickson was diagnosed in October with brain cancer. Came home. Things took a turn for the worse. And I'm very sorry and thank you for the prayers, but I need to say that John has passed. This one's hitting me hard because of the man John was to me personally. A very good friend, even though there were miles between our friendship. And he's now sitting at the great chef table in the sky. And for those that don't know the industry, when I worked in hotels, they had a chef table where all the chefs would get together at lunchtime and have a meal. And when I was doing my apprenticeship with Patrick Pignon at the Garden City Hotel, he said, Monsieur Gagliano, you're going to be invited to the chef table. We make a special food in your honor. And they had blood sausage with fresh Italian bread. And being I was 19 years old when I was doing my apprenticeship at the Garden City, I sat down. I was a cocky kid back in the day. Can you believe me being cocky? I don't see it. Anyway, they invited me to the chef table, and I took my bite into that big loaf of Italian bread. And my first bite into the sausage, all that liquid from the blood sausage flooded my mouth. It was drooling down the side. I'm licking. My tongue is darting out of my mouth, licking up, not showing any fear whatsoever. And they all couldn't believe that I wasn't put off by that. But you can't show them that. You can't let them see you sweat. I try to teach my kids that all the time. So, John Erickson, thank you for a great ride, my friend. Your family loves you. I love you. And I look forward to seeing you once again, sir. So it's 8:58. This has been Angie's Angles. We got 7-2 New York Mets winning in the bottom of the fifth. Mark Vientos at the plate. And he pops up. All right. So that'll be it. We'll go to the top of the sixth. Mets winning 7-2. So let's see if we can start a 2-game winning streak. Tune in next week for Angie's Angles. Thank you for logging on. I appreciate everybody. Good night. God bless. I love you.